The latest trailer for Dragon Dogma 2 has a whole bunch of interesting details and things to spot that you could easily miss at first glance, so if you're intrigued or excited for this new game like we are, then you'll not want to miss out. I've watched through this trailer multiple times now, and after the showcase we have a lot of extra knowledge about the game and its characters, so let's go through and break down this new main trailer.
At last! The bell has tolled on the age of the console.
So if we actually just stop there, we can actually see Brant, who is a palace guard, and he's renowned in the world for being honest and righteous. But because of this, he was actually demoted from the royal court for opposing the current Queen Regent. Interestingly, there's a plot going on for the throne which we'll get into shortly, but because of his natural disposition to being honest and righteous, he'll probably help our Arisen out, as he was obviously scorned by the Queen Regent.
The return of the Sovereign.
We can then see the return of the Sovereign, as he says, and we can see the legs of a character, which line up exactly with the legs of the current King of Vermund sitting on the throne. Interestingly, we know that he's a false Arisen, and yet for some reason the pawns still serve him. And then here we can see a very cool scene of the griffin sort of flying away, and then a mysterious figure overlooking from a mountain. And this lines up really well with one of the scenes in the first game's trailer, which has the same shot but then an up close of the mysterious figure who is looking a little creepy. This is probably a villain character who is sending the griffin to attack. As in the 9-minute deep dive trailer, we can actually see the griffin come flying and attacking a settlement. This echoes the first game where a mysterious hooded person is somehow controlling monsters and sending them to attack people.
Welcome, Arisen.
And then we see a character welcome our Arisen, and it seems like they are a pawn based on their hand gesture and what they say just after this in the trailer. Now this could be Ulrika, as it looks similar but also different. The hairstyle is different and the outfit is different, so it might not be Ulrika, or it could be after somewhat of a makeover. I'm not too sure here. But one thing is for certain, I'm pretty sure this is a pawn that we'll encounter.
We pawns have long awaited your arrival.
And then we have some really nice gameplay of the fighter Vocation in some awesome armor, and interestingly it seems like they have a Kapesh as their weapon, which is a curved Egyptian blade, which is really cool to see. And we can also see a very cool looking archer, which again just looks nice. And if you haven't played the first game, you won't know what this big glowing stone is, and it's actually a rift stone, which acts as a portal to the rift, which is where Arisen can hire and summon pawns from.
Learn aught you can of this world you must protect.
In this next section, we basically have a look at Batal, the Beastren sort of main area, and within this we can actually see two characters as well, Manella and Nadinia. Manella is a Beastren who leads the Guard of the Lambent Flame and is dutied to protect the High Priestess and her acolytes, meant to be fiercely loyal to the Empress, and the Empress herself is of course the leader of Batal and the High Priestess of the Lambent Flame. She became the head of the nation at a young age and has earned the trust of the people thanks to her kindness and her desire for peace and prosperity, so she's more like a natural ruler who wants everyone to be happy and there to be peace, while on the Vermund, the more human side of things, there's basically a Game of Thrones going on.
We ask that all be spared.
Here we can see some really cool gameplay of the Trickster, where they use a move that summons an illusion drake, and in the full showcase we can actually see this move knocks the griffin out of the sky. It's definitely looking like an interesting support hybrid Vocation. And then after that, we can see a really cool clip of a warrior fighting a drake, which again, I just can't wait to fight these drakes in the actual full game.
Dragon.
Then we get a very short clip of Dory Anne, an elf whose home is in the forest depths. She's meant to be a quiet, refined woman with elegant manners, and she's the sister to the other elf character whose name is really looking hard to pronounce, Glyndor or something like that. And due to her brother's influence, she only understands a few words of the human language, but she's very kind and welcoming to other races. We actually got a look at the new elvish settlement in the full showcase, which is looking absolutely incredible if you like the sort of elven aesthetic, like Rivendell and stuff from Lord of the Rings, and there's going to be quests there for us to complete too.
From this moment forth, thou art arisen.
And then we can see a clip of the big red dragon eating our heart, and this is how we essentially become chosen and become an Arisen.
Charge and do.
There's also a really cool clip of the new monster, the Dullahan, and then the magic archer using what I'm assuming is the Seeker or Hunter's Bolt, which in the first game is a move that allows you to lock on either 5 or 10 arrows onto enemies, and it has a good chance to knock people over. The bow looks really cool too. This was the main vocation that I played in the first game. Magic Archer is really cool and fun. And then we have the Medusa, or the Gorgon, depending on what you want to call it. But in a previous showcase, they did actually label this one as a Medusa, so maybe it is now called a Medusa in this world instead of being a Gorgon.
Here's my chance.
If you're discovered, yours won't be the only head that rolls.
And the character there is Hel Min, I think that's how you say it, and she's actually the proprietress to the Rose Chateau, which is in Vermund's capital, and it's a place where influential members of the nobility will frequent, so this character will have a lot of influence.
What is your purpose here?
Next we can see the false king, the false Arisen on the throne. Maybe this magic necklace has something to do with the pawns still serving him, but this is the false Arisen, which the Queen Regent is secretly plotting to overthrow.
When 'twas all but certain that her son would take his father's place, word reached the castle that the Arisen had been found.
And then you can see here, this is Disa, the Queen Regent. Of course, she's taken charge of the kingdom's government after the king fell, and she is scheming to basically install her beloved son, Sven, as the next king. You can see there when they say that the Arisen has been found, that she does not look very happy. So she's probably not going to be nice to our player character, because we would put her sort of scheme into turmoil as she wants her son to be king. But of course, the Arisen goes on to challenge the dragon and become king.
Pitiable Arisen.
And there we can actually see the big red dragon. In the first game, the dragon was called Grigori. It has the same voice actor, so it's possible it could still be Grigori, but it is parallel worlds, so it might have a different name in this one.
Why dost thou fight?
Arisen.
You can see a really cool gameplay clip against a Minitar, which is another monster that you can fight. Another clip of Ulrika being concerned for us. And then interestingly here, you can see what I'm assuming is the Sorcerer do the Maelstrom ability, which is like a whirlwind on a armored Cyclops, which looks pretty cool.
You need only believe in your own destiny, Arisen.
And there's a close-up of the Sphinx, which again is another big monster that we can fight. And then there's the new Mystic Spearhand being showed with a new ability that makes him look like he has some kind of shadow clone attacking with him. It just looks absolutely awesome. This is definitely going to be the class I'm going to play.
Show me the path thou wouldst walk.
And then we have the new Colossus enemy, Talos, coming out of the water. There's some interesting sort of fan theories going around that Talos may just be one of or the cause of the brine in the water. So in the world of Dragon's Dogma, when you go into the water, you essentially get these like bubbling animation of the kind of red purpley visual effect that eventually kills you. It stops you traversing in the water. But as you can see, this creature, this Talos, has that same visual effect coming out of its head and in the weak points on its body. So it could be the cause of the brine potentially, or at least that's the theory so far.
If ye intend to do what I could not, and fell the dragon true, I would gladly pass all the wisdom I possess into your hands.
We actually get a clip here of what I'm assuming is a previous true Arisen. He says, if ye intend to do what I could not and fell the true dragon. So this implies that we're trying to basically do what he failed at, making him possibly the last Arisen. So it's interesting that we might bump into him, maybe he gives us some help. But also, what is he doing in a random cave? We just don't know. And then we see some really cool armor, and of course the official release date. And that is basically our breakdown of the new main trailer that was released during and after the current showcase. We're of course going to cover more Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff as it comes up, as we discover new things, so make sure you're subscribed down below to stay up to date.